Kurwa ko hobisi mora ngai sureiga akanye kura tiara ngukurere ngakenya gujano na kire kanyara bamutemire hansi ari.
Hello, welcome to this episode that seeks to unravel justice as according to the Abakuria people. My name is George Chacha with the Family Therapy Podcast. We are in Gokeharaka Getambwega Ward in a village called Muturio Village in Kuria East. The issue at hand is about an elderly woman, 89 years old, who despite having given birth to 13 children, 8 daughters and 5 sons, she lives alone. She has no single child and she lives alone and lonely. It is interesting and worth noting that while the daughters have been married out, some of them being married to Tanzania and some of them have been married within Kenya, out of the 5 sons, 2 sons died, remaining 3 sons. Of the 3 sons, 2 sons teamed up together and killed their elder brother. And right now, as we speak, the 2 sons are serving life imprisonment. The elderly lady, aged about 89 years old, only knows that one of her sons is in Kehancha prison, but she does not know where the other son is. Otherwise, welcome to this show for us to see, does having children always translate to peace, harmony, and satisfaction in life? And now I welcome you to walk or accompany me to the homestead of this elderly woman, so as for us to witness and hear from the horse's mouth, to even hear her cry for justice. Justice for the government or justice for the poor elderly widow. Welcome. Goko. Mbuya tole. Hara na kunyori wiki hobene ole kugitumbe kera ni chinyinyi pono ni guruge ni guhira kumutera sawa tuchere koko mahera kuigwa mangana gao tusumache kubotambe sawa. Yes, welcome to the homestead of Goko Elizabeth Mohamed Nyasuguta. Goko Elizabeth Mohamed Nyasuguta was born there about 1939. Like I said earlier, out of 13 children, she lives all by herself with nobody in this homestead. Now, we are going to hear her story, her cry for justice. Goko ko marina gao na obatebi baigwe marina gao nuwengwe na abana mbarenga waiboye
ebiga bane kubina batatu bakakwa bandi.
Yes, she says she gave birth to a total of 13 children, but quite a number of them have since died. Ko bana baigise ke bamwe batetru kuya Tanzania bamwe ngokura kulia ni kwa gambere
nalinga Tanzania no ndi wikite nalinga Tanzania no yalingi kumbo yo balinga Kehancha babene
Goko Nyasuguta says that some of her daughters are married across border to Tanzania, some of them are married here in Kenya. But even amongst her daughters, there are some who have died. Ko bana bikimura goko abana parenga waiboye
batano
abamura batano na sasa igo barenga baho
babiri bayo bene baboyiri.
Goko Nyasuguta says that she gave birth to 5 sons. 2 of them are serving life imprisonment. 1 of them was allegedly killed by his 2 brothers, and 2 others died a natural death. Goko tutebia baada ya bamurabano ku kirikegir baite muromobo. Nkikegira bamuraba birebano bagotane baite muromobo.
Mugaka na buri yilema mugaka na buri yilema buya gasokia mumurumu no atuli kuya gesakamayo pona gacha kaburundiga tangi kirogo mturumu gikoni hano ora gaitabiria akamoha hana mohage agasoki bagachambe bakamenya na hangiga no bamenye ni hangi ora kiri kumenya ho akajara chaburu onde ono aramucha bura kabisa bono ni amuburiga manaka kana kiruku tunambe moroga takunahire kana kiruku nyorora mutuna inke moroga kaheta kaya kamusita ko barasa hana bamusita kire ko barasa hana basemaine mananka akamukirikina ukumukirikina hara pono pasokeri pakatamara guchaka kanya nindo totoro hanoiga no ora narude ko barsahara na sohiri nyumba wa yake mikichipanga irenga agacha gutuna pano
gotara yotanga. Goko Nyasuguta is explaining the circumstances that led to her 2 sons to kill their brother. She says that her late husband followed procedure and demarcated the land between, or rather among all his sons. 2 had already died and 3 were alive. Therefore, the whole land was demarcated into 3 portions. And in the process, as Kuria tradition demands, the homestead, where the homestead is, by default, that portion will always belong to the lastborn. The house in which, the house that stand on that portion will always belong to the lastborn. And the firstborn, unfortunately, was never satisfied with the demarcation. He wanted the portion that belonged to the lastborn. And since this is the particular land he wanted, conflict arose. And the matter was taken to the Abakuria justice system, to the Baraza. And at the Baraza, the Kuria clans, the elders, in conjunction with the chief, they handled the matter and ruled in favor of the lastborn, reminding the firstborn that the Kuria tradition demands that always where the homestead is shall always be the land to the lastborn. So the firstborn left the gathering, or left the baraza where they had gone for conflict resolution. When he came home, Goko Mohammed explains that he armed himself with 2 pangas, declaring war. Akaimukichibanga ibere
ono kanyara nei kaji nindi akuhaga chinyumbejo na kora gwiguru hara kanyarora bono nguchansi hanaringe bono natokira aturu ni chipanga chinara gambaga rero nenda baite ondo oro munenora hake akakaramuka kuja nyumba akaja kimiki chino nigwa imiki chino kereigo aramore kerebanga yara ituba hara base maini muchibu akambora ikapapa Nyasuguta utakayaka nkuhe eparuba nduchumumura wao no angire nkona hare pano ponu ninga ikaraiga niga habo eparuba tena hikira hatakwe habo inkai muchibura kai guikurati akambirekera baba Nyasuguta kanikura tenikurira mau hano ni yake nkaichoka kimukuru akuhubisi mora ngaisureiga kanyikura ngukurere ngakinya gucha hano nakire kanya bamutemire hansi ari.
Goko Nyasuguta explains in details the events leading to the killing of her other son, the eldest son. From the chief, as she indicated, the eldest son declared war against his last-born brother, wanting to take the portion belonging to the last-born by force. And Goko Nyasuguta says while she was still at within the chief's compound, the chief told her, "Your eldest son has refused the ruling of the baraza. Your eldest son has refused to honor this ruling." And the chief was in the process of writing a letter to Goko Mohammed Nyasuguta so that she may take it to the next level, when all of a sudden they heard wailing and crying like something serious has happened, only for her to be told that somebody has been killed in your homestead. The eldest son, full of fury, anger, and revenge, armed with the 2 pangas, had resolved to eliminate his younger brother. And in the process, the middle son, seeing his younger brother's life threatened, also armed himself. And it is by sheer luck that he was able to kind of kill the elder brother before the elder brother was able to kill the last-born son. He hit him from behind before he could hit the younger brother, and he fell down and died. Hanuba muitre yeke mbangosere gosi yeke kevle kebai.
Tangosere. Baikaya kanu chisiku chincharu. Ataka kote. Ononde bagaja. Bagaja bakaba gota.
Goko Elizabeth Mohammed Nyasuguta says that after the killing of her eldest son by her 2 younger sons, the 2 sons did not run away. They did not escape. Their arrest came so many days later, and she is not sure how they ended up coming to arrest her 2 sons. Tutevia Goko hano baba gutira abana bakabahira kotini gusuhi gose mugoli
mbageke hanja agekara hukinsiko agasoke bana bakabahira mugoli gusuhi harambage bagayikara bono ngate barube gachega guche terehejo ulinyarabo muraba bageje barajya Kisumu. Bono mboke ngasabire mbaka gusuhi kanyara ni nyumba barenge bono rujo ndobata noje kuja Kisumu.
Goko Nyasuguta explains that when her sons were arrested, they were detained in Kehancha for a number of days before they were transferred from Kehancha to Kisii Law Court. At Kisii Law Court, she was informed, or rather prepared, that her sons would be transferred there, and in the process she had to follow them to Kisii. And while at Kisii, Goko Nyasuguta was approached by a court clerk who told her that this is a very serious offense, and if it is not properly handled, then it means that the children are going to be jailed or even to be hanged. And therefore, she alludes that the court clerk told her to pay 30,000 shillings, which would influence the magistrate to rule in her favor so that the children are not jailed for life or they are not hanged. Goko Nyasuguta, who trades in vegetables, she farms vegetables and sells, came and looked for the 30,000 shillings, which he took to the court clerk in Kisii, hoping that the matter will end at Kisii. But this was not to be so. The children were transferred to Kisumu. Kisumu ba hukumeje gose ngusuhi?
Hukumero ngusuhi ko meka gidi. Anga
kotini hano bage ko hukumerwa ngusuhi gose Kisumu. Ngusuhi
hano manambe no urubo mbante birimbiga bamira babo hira maisa. Nagambira bamira babo hira maisa bono kanyarumano baba umusirikale wa naringi mugorisha gusuhi mwana wa barenjoka bono akamburia tehayo bene mu kumburia nkamuteberie yigo akagamba iga bana pabo bayo hata hayo bahukumeyo maisha tebale bakoribuya kana bakahukumirombe maisha na wono no wari kujya kubatuna kana yakihayo akaburiga bera hayo penye ikina kiyo kebere hayo nenda kulentera machibu bano mumurora akato bono bagasumacha no mana undi muchokoro omhare ko bane akamutibya nawe ke haro na mutibiri akalente baruba akagamba tebi baba nyasuta abamura baye bayo bahukumeyo maisa numene basumache ye ko muhakimu andentere erubu sarasini abana baye akina ma kuva wa maisa gayo kasire baikale ke haraba abande baikayo
Terego. Goko Nyasuguta explains that at Kisii law courts her sons were sentenced to life imprisonment, and one of the court clerks within Kisii law courts approached her and told her that your children ought not to have been sentenced to life imprisonment because they acted in self-defense. The court clerk asked Goko Nyasuguta to go and look for 30,000 Kenya shillings so that the amount of money would influence the judgment of the magistrate so that the sentence would be reduced from life imprisonment to only a few years. Goko Nyasuguta paid the money, and after paying the money, nothing was ever communicated to her. It is now more than 14 years since her two sons were sentenced to prison. Nothing was ever communicated to her as to whether the life imprisonment was shortened or it still stands. But what she knows is that one of her two sons, both of them having been jailed in Kisumu, has since been transferred to Kehancha. But she has no information of the whereabouts of her other son.
Nkiro mukali arenge bono kanyamusacha bayo na nurwambai bono harari kwiba mugayikura nari kwimkichimbiri agenda murebera musacha orari choka bono agantebiega baba Nyasuguta nchunkuhire ku muntu ra gutokorikina tokemuka tokagenda ngatemukito kugenda kanyara hatanya kwa bakwiri nyirobi amatanga nkagaringu cyanga bari bono agantebiga norarentera kinerbu sitini kanyara nengeye neruba rubaine nkemiki senti kire eruba rubaine nkamoha bono ngachanga itegere igakanego muntono ni kisenti aranyere ngakanya mukari ora akintu byabantu ngusira bire ni wiki tenda yiko sali kisenti cyangwa negatiga babohenye barabote tengana sana basi.
Goko Nyasuguta explains the travails that she has gone through in the process of seeking for the release of her sons, her innocent sons. She says that she was approached by the wise people, telling her that if you do this, if you do that, your children will come out of prison. It is in that process that she met with another wise person who asked her to pay 160,000 shillings and her two sons will be released out of prison. Being where she is, the level that she is, she could raise at the time only 40,000 shillings, which is the amount of money that she took to the wise one, who later on insisted that the full amount must be paid, namely 160,000. Goko Nyasuguta realized that that amount was way above her reach, and what she did is she let the matter rest. She lost the 30,000, and now she has lost the 40,000. Her sons are still in prison. She cries for her sons. She cries for company. She cries for a family. Goko tutebia gukuru abana bao bapohere ogatamu mwene amaisha nieke gare nieke umenyere mboko nguke okomaha usimbuyole
mboko noko okomaha bomugondo sebati wanu yehumbu hayo na uya hangi hayo na uya renge Tanzania hayo ni baba kokoli bya koreke hayo bonna na baigo baba kokoli bya kore pare mahindi barandentera bakore amarebo barandentera asa tinini chinguru chinangogera mugondo.
Goko Nyasuguta explains that life has been a hell. She has been through hell living alone. She entirely depends on her married daughters, including those married in Tanzania. Where we are seated right now is only a few kilometers, about 2 or 3 kilometers from Tanzanian soil, and therefore her daughter from Tanzania serves her, and once in a while her daughter from Kehancha also brings supplies to her. She says that at the age she is in now, she is weak, she is old, she cannot maintain herself. She even laments that the social benefit, the money that is paid to the elderly, has not reached her despite being alone and lonely in this homestead. Goko Nyasuguta has seen the worst part of her life. And now, viewers, maybe it will be important for us to see where she lives, to examine her homestead, her kingdom, all that is hers. Goko nare gusaba iga tosohe tomahe hari umenyere tomahe kirona kyo nyumba eno ti nyumba yao muno umenyere umwene tona muntu ndiga umenyere nawe muno
muchukuru wani bono no wagucha arara mora arari chingombe chiyongo kombori oboroti mukoguti wane nageje hayo atatetire no muntu manene ono ndamugorra no achabano konsaitira gukuma hichingombe buri asante
tiga toma hembe hariyo umenyere uraza kutuhira mu tuimoke
Ingabo cha kanisa no Misiraeli inde.
Oh, no Misiraeli yole. This is the kingdom of Goko Nyasuguta. It is all that she has. It is her paradise. It is her slum. Goko Nyasuguta still yearns and cries for her 2 sons. They may have committed what they committed, but Goko Nyasuguta needs her sons more than the prison needs them. She lives here alone with no one to attend to her. Pono o isikuharo kuhenchera isiko kuhenchera ora
ndache muno
etarane hyo gotomera
Muhurere. Ke nera kuchaki. Achere kuchaki bo.
Yeah. Asante mama. Pole sana. Kwa sababu tuliga Mungu aturi. Pengine umuntu no akuhusika aweze kumaha ubukungu bonona bo parete abana bao. It is the prayer of Gokonya Suguta that somebody somewhere, a judge, the chief justice, the judiciary, would recall the files of her 2 children who have been sentenced to what she knows not, whether it is life imprisonment or it's just a few years. It is hoped that Gokonya Suguta will see her sons to take care of her for the remaining few sunset years. The loneliness is just too unbearable for Gokonya Suguta, born in 1939. It is a challenge to the alternative justice system, to the authors of the alternative justice system paper framework, that they will see the need to visit this old lady and reevaluate the verdict over her 2 sons and the circumstances under which her other son was killed. She yearns and cries for her 2 sons. Gokonya Suguta says that only the last born was not yet married, but the others, the son who started the conflict in the family was already married and had a family. The son of the 2 sons who are in jail, one of them also had sons. And now I will be walking with Gokonya Suguta towards the grave of her eldest son who started all this dark chapter in her life. Koko tugendiga tumahe ukuyanse mono tumahe. Inchera ne hano yakungarara gukuhika ku mutegora haratuke.
Ajo turagere ko to tihar kibri chikumbe checha sekra ba hatira ni wacho.
Otogera ensaniga.
Bom ko tiwa ne bembo ngo kumbuli anda mora kamuri.
Ora mugora kamano.
Ya kamuri.
Ko bibono no buroti boy. Umumura uyo itero.
Mbobonse. Tukuma haramu.
Ono monganyiri gukuru hano mukayikoro hara.
Kanyo harape no anye tolengi.
Iganki achero ko tukerwa hari hano.
Kanyambe ko buroti boy yakire.
Na buri ari gutunambo hai pulare ko nganganira
bono igambo oreitiro.
Kukuro hano mpaka hai?
Mpaka Gesaka.
Mpaka Gesaka. Nani hatokeyo?
Utacha beha yunguja umombrado.
The plot to the brother who was killed begins from this avocado tree all the way down to the river. A big plot indeed. Here lies Monanka, the eldest son of Goko Nyasuguta. Here lies the son who started all this conflict. The late Monanka. he had to be buried so many meters away from the homestead because he had to be buried in his land, in his legal or lawful given land, the piece of land that his father had apportioned to him. And that is why when he died, he had to be laid here. Tacho mama kuchanwi. Ama hindi kanu nuwo komboyi.
Naunda komboyi.
Aga kuhishimbiria. And due to her age, Goko Nyasuguta has resorted to leasing this land so that she may get some minimum upkeep. There is nobody to farm here. She has no strength to farm, and therefore she leases her piece of land for a paltry maybe 3,000 or 4,000 shillings for a whole year, for the 2 seasons. So we continue asking, is it possible that justice can be unjust? Is it possible that is it possible that maybe the government doesn't really need the justice, but somebody else? We are standing at the grave of Monanka, the death that has changed the life of this elderly lady, Goko Elizabeth Mohammed Nyasuguta. The government may have gotten justice, but what about this old lady? Goko Nyasuguta still yearns, thirst for justice. Goko Nyasuguta feels that this is an issue that should be looked into and her sons released with immediate effect so that they may take care of her. It is hoped that the judiciary, and most especially Her Excellency, the Honorable Chief Justice, who has cut an image for herself as a reformer, as a very liberal Chief Justice, will take into consideration of the alternative justice system even into a higher notch. Dear viewers, I have brought you to see where her son lies. It is my hope that those watching this clip will stand with Goko Elizabeth Mohammed Nyasuguta one way or the other. We are hoping that at some point, if the prison authorities will allow us, we will visit the 2 sons who have been jailed and established, and even get to hear from them and make it, connect them to the outside world, and maybe even for them to explain to us what exactly transpired on that fateful day more than 14 years ago. Dear viewers, I am making a special appeal on behalf of Goko Elizabeth Mohammed Nyasuguta. I am making an appeal for you and me and everyone else to transform the life of this woman, a woman whose justice to the state has apparently been injustice to her life. Goko Elizabeth Mohammed needs a house. As you all can see what she lives in. Who is going to stand with the iron sheets? Who is going to stand with the construction materials? The bricks, the cement, the nails, the timber, the doors, and all that. Goko Elizabeth Mohammed needs food. She needs some upkeep. What better appeal? What a cause? What a good cause can you do for yourself? Goko Elizabeth Mohammed Nyasuguta is in need, and she's only going to be delivered, she's only going to be transformed by your effort and my effort. I have played my part. Let us hope that even as she hopes and expects, even as she holds hope that the Chief Justice, the Kenyan judiciary will recall the files of her children, you and I will build her a home, will buy her food. At the age of more than 85 years, that Goko Elizabeth Mohammed should still be tilling the land, harvesting vegetables to go and sell in the market. It calls and challenges our conscience. Below, within this video, you will find a pay bill number. Give your donation through the pay bill number to transform Goko Elizabeth Mohammed life. You can send in cash or in kind, but let the life of Goko Elizabeth Mohammed transform. It calls for you and me, and we will make it. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching Family Therapy Podcast. We have highlighted the plight of a family. We have highlighted the plight of an elderly woman. Thank you for watching, and I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Click the like button. Click the bell. Stand with Goko Elizabeth Mohammed Nyasuguta. Thank you.